Welcome to LeadsCon Live, a place where you'll hear great conversations with movers and shakers about the latest trends in the lead generation industry. Now, your host, Michael Faree.
My name is Michael Faree. I'm here with Joe Marinucci from Digital Media Solutions. He is a board member at the Leads Council, and I wanted to catch up with Joe to sort of figure out what you guys are up to, what is the Leads Council for those that don't know, and we'll go from there. So just for someone that doesn't know anything about the Leads Council, what is it and what are you guys up to?
Industry trade association, lead sellers, lead buyers. We're trying to bring those two groups together to adhere to standardized set of practices, which we feel would be best practices on both sides of the coin in terms of how you buy leads and how you sell leads. So trying to bring structure to an industry that historically has not had a lot of structure.
Yeah. And so buyers, sellers, all different verticals are a part of the Leads Council?
Mortgage, insurance, education, those are areas that we have represented currently. And then there's sub-verticals, technology providers. It's a mixed bag.
So you guys are creating best practices and guidelines, or what exactly are you providing to the industry and to the members?
We have our standards, and I can boil it down pretty simply. Don't mislead consumers, follow applicable rules, regs, and laws, and just try to stay above it. Just try to stay above it on the front side of the wave. And in doing that, you're probably going to distance yourselves from a lot of the negative aura that has been over this industry at certain times.
So as a member, what are the benefits that they get from being a part of the group? Besides supporting a good cause, what do they get from it?
There's pretty substantial discounts on attending the two shows, the LeadsCon show and the new show, which is Connect to Convert. So there's pretty substantial discounts on both exhibiting and then badges, which in and of itself I think helps pay for the membership. But over and above that, you get access to the content that we put out, white papers, webinars, a lot of which are compliance focused, information on TCPA compliance, information on industry best practices, not only from a compliance perspective, but we do media buying webinars, best practices inside of Facebook, how to get conversion metrics up. There's a lot of information which once you start to absorb it, there's a lot of value there. Additionally, we've got some other initiatives going, one of which is our DNC Dial Share, which is the DNC project we've been working on the last it's actually a multi-year project now, which is mind share from some of the biggest members of the council, Quinn Street, my company, DMS, All Web Leads, Lending Tree, where we're going to be aggregating information in our databases that we've compiled on consumers and their requests to potentially not be called again, and how we share that information amongst ourselves to remove unnecessary or unwanted dials from the ether. So quite simply, if DMS talks to somebody about insurance and they tell us they're not interested and not to call them, and we flag them as a do not call, if they were to have signed up on Quinn Street's, one of Quinn Street's insurance sites weeks prior to us calling them, and Quinn Street had yet to contact them, and we flagged them as a do not call, Quinn Street would have access to our information so they would know not to call this person, which it saves a lot of time, money, and energy on all fronts. It makes for a better consumer experience because the consumer is clearly not interested and they don't want to be called. For Quinn Street and DMS, whoever places the flag and then whoever sees the benefit of the removal can save themselves time, money, and energy by not calling that person because they're not interested. And for the regulators, they don't want to have to deal with complaints of people getting too many phone calls. So if we can lessen the amount of complaints that they have to work with, that's time, money, and energy that they don't have to expend on those complaints and they can focus elsewhere. Overall, it's a win for the industry.
Now, TCPA is a big issue, at least with lead gen and calling and all that sort of. Is that something that this there's people out there trying to trap companies into TCPA violations almost? I don't know if that's the right way to frame it, but is this something that this would help sort of against if there's ambulance chaser or whatever? What's the proper way to frame these individuals out there looking to make money off of companies that maybe have done something with the TCPA guidelines? Is that what we're trying to do here? Or?
So TCPA starts with consent.
Right.
So assuming, we would never call somebody if we did not have consent.
Sure.
Quinn Street would never call somebody if they did not have consent. So
Yeah.
consent is the tip of the spear. If you have proper consent, you go from there. Then you're going to get into the issues of, if we speak to them and they revoke the consent, are we honoring the revocation? So we do a lot around making sure that we are as buttoned up as can possibly be when it comes to revocation of consent. We're getting people off the list. However, to your point, when you're dealing with an environment like the one we're in, where the plaintiff's bar is very aggressive with litigation, if another company was to call that person, they might confuse that phone call with the phone call that we placed. We could subsequently get sued, even though we've DNC'd them effectively. They might think that we called them back. So the idea is, for people who want out and don't want to get phone calls, we just want to get them out.
Yeah.
So that there is no confusion on who called them, why they called them. If they don't want to get called, we want them out. We don't want them speaking to plaintiff's bar attorneys. We don't need litigation on this front. If we can get them out of the process, we're doing something here with the DNC dial share to get them out of that process. Companies usually don't share this information.
Right.
It's not required.
So this is, no one's ever doing
Yeah, so this would be an industry best practice that has never before been achieved.
So if someone wants to find out more, they can go to leadscouncil.com and reach out to you guys there to find out more information?
Yeah, they can contact our executive director, Rob Seaver. There's a contact us now form on the site. There's a phone number. We're out there. We're around.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining me and telling me a little bit about Leads Council. Appreciate it.
You got it, Mike.
Excellent.
Thank you for joining us today at LeadsCon Live.